Welcome to my first YouTube on my new channel, I Lit a Candle Presentations for the XJW community. The first thing I want to do is to say thank you to all of you, every single one of you, who has put up a YouTube to support the community. We all know how much time and energy it takes and how frustrating it is to do a simple YouTube when you don't have the expertise with computers, equipment, and all of those complex software programs that we have to learn. So, firstly, to start out my series, I just want to say thank you to all of you for being so different in your approach. All of you have brought up such varied aspects of concepts. I want to say a special thanks to the passion of J.W. Fairy Tale. Thank you so much. To the ingenious skits of number 4747, Runaway Slave. Where are you? I want to see more. I had the privilege of being able to have Kim and Mikey listen to me on Skype once for about 2 hours. They were very patient. Kim has just done so much hard work doing research and finding the actual quotes in the literature and videos and all kinds of things. It's just amazing. It's just beyond me. I want to say a special thanks to Mark and Cora in the UK. I had the privilege of living in your beautiful fairy tale kingdom for a year, and I went back twice. England had a great place in my life. It has had a great effect. I love England, and I am so happy that you got married and were able to free yourselves from the insanity. However, I want to say thank you also to everyone who has done even little clips and expressed their truth and their emotions from their heart and allowed themselves to be so vulnerable. Everyone has had some insight, something valuable to share. So it seems appropriate to start out with a thank you. It also seems appropriate to bring up a little clip from my book, How the Movie Saved My Life, and other themes. Perhaps the only truth we will ever know for sure is the sincere, uncensored expression that is revealed in the process of discovery we struggle to establish in the arts. It's not just the facts, ma'am. Remember Dragnet? It's the emotions too, and they are a real truth. I must say now that my focus will be different. I am not going to go through the literature of the Watchtower again. All of you have done such a good job already. I am still working at age 71, and I feel my time left is of a concern, and so I want to just stick to telling my story. Some of you have come to some very different conclusions than I have. So it's an amazing platform to come in on, and I am thankful for the freedom of expression to see what your reasoning is and why and how you are where you are today. I respect that, and I think that it is a process we're going through, and it is a process to know God. The program that we had as witnesses was so very oppressive. In fact, it was a masterful kind of mind control. Yes, it would be great for learning a manual. Yes, let's read the paragraphs together and then answer the questions from the paragraph. And let's just all get involved in that and make it our own. Yes, let's go over and over that simple information and over and really get it straight. Yes, so now we feel we agree that we understand. Yes, so we can hear it with our ears and see it with our eyes over and over. That way we all agree, don't we? How carefully we studied, or did we? Yes, they had all the answers because they asked the questions, right? And you agreed over and over, and then you even went out and told complete strangers door to door, which was so hard, which made it even more right. So surely we all studied and agreed and went out and told others. So we really knew what we were talking about. The fact is, we really did not know how to do real research, and if we were headed in that direction, we were told various discouraging things. The fact is, we were kept busy with busy work. We were also fed complete falsehoods. If you had any other questions, then you were looked at askance. Or, worse, you were hauled into the back room, and we know what that means. There is a moment, a picture, I determined to hold in my mind. The year was 1975. The place, Morro Bay, California, Kingdom Hall. I found myself quite unintentionally able to eavesdrop on a group of brothers. I don't think we called them elders then. There was something going on. I drew closer. One of them said to the others, "I just don't understand it," as some type of self-defense response. There was a silence, and looks of stern alarm and raised eyebrows were circling the group. Oh, I believe it. I just don't understand it." The brothers looked a little relieved. I quietly pulled away, and I could hardly keep from laughing outright. I thought, that's about it. Whatever it was about, I thought, how can you say you believe it when you don't understand it? Sounded like coercion to me. The ones doing the questioning better keep it down, I thought. I myself had a lot of questions, but always felt the kingdom message was more important. After all, we were the only ones really preaching the good news door to door, and also that we were the only ones who knew about 1914. Had we not gone through 2 world wars, and we had not fought in those wars? Hell, we were in the concentration camps in Germany and killed by the Nazis. We wouldn't even sew a button on a uniform. Surely they made us the best. That made us the best and the only ones. Not to mention, we were neutral in politics. We used Jehovah's name and had the best Bible. We didn't take blood and had love worldwide. Isn't that what they told us? Well, in 1999, when I turned myself in and was disfellowshipped, I later read that turning yourself in is a sure sign of brainwashing. The way I got out is so complicated that I cannot go into it now. It will also give pause to some, and with others I will lose all credibility. So I cannot go into that for now. However, it is also so important that I will get to it at some point. I have wanted to write the story about my life for at least 40 years. Now, as I say, I'm 71 and wonder if it will ever get done. It is too important to put it off any longer. I also wonder who reads books anymore. Putting myself out onto YouTube may be my only option. I know what is involved in writing books. I have written 4 books that are out on Amazon.com right now. One does tell a little about myself and my life. It is called The Mermaid of the Kyle of Akash and Journey to Sky, a story for the child and a story for the parents. The other book is a poetry, and it is called How the Movie Saved My Life and Other Themes, 1961 to 2017. There are poems that relate to my JW life and my ex-JW life. I could stop here and comment that I really did not agree for years with some things that the society said. One was their stand on R-rated movies. Really, the only movies worth watching are often R-rated. I had my kids watch selected R movies like The Winds of War and War and Remembrance. There were many others. I believe movies have great value, as one movie is worth 100 talks at the KH. They can reach the heart as well as the ears and eyes. There are some things in movies, no matter what rating they have, that gave a need to sit down and talk about the movie and what was going on. I watched the movies with my kids, and then we could talk about things. I considered it a great teaching tool, and it gives a real way, as I said, to reach hearts. I also don't like arbitrary rules, and I always must have a reason for being restricted. So you can see I really just did not follow or jump every time the society said jump. I'd like to have good reason for things. So, okay, one page to over here, and then I had to write this out because I kept doing it and it was all wrong. So I had to write it out. So, do you ever find yourself in a bit of shock, wondering how this all happened, when you know perfectly well how it all happened, and yet the shock lingers? If anyone had told me 20 or 30 years ago that I would be where I am today, I would have laughed and said, not going to happen. Better off dead, or something like that. I actually had the experience of an aunt calling me in 1998 and asking me if I was still a Jehovah's Witness. I said, I will never leave. She said, that's all I wanted to know. I believe she was asking me so she could see if she was going to leave me something in her will. Of course she did not. And once again, I experienced the curse of the watchtower. Of course, I felt really good about it at the time. Like I was so faithful. A year and a half later, I was out. One thing about being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we were convinced that we really had something, that it had all been carefully studied, and that now we had the real answers. So it's very hard, as we know, to reach Jehovah's Witnesses, because not only because they're told not to listen to anybody, but because they feel that they studied carefully and they've gone through this ritualistic process, actually, and then they are committed to that way of thinking. So we also have to provide hard information. However, what I provide may not be so hard. It may be a little esoteric for some people. So I wanted to write this book, and I struggled and struggled how to present it. Should I just state the facts, write it as my story? And I thought, no one will believe me. They will think I made it up. I'm lying. Then I thought, if I present it as a novel, well, they will say, I think there's some truth in here. So here I am. Perhaps I will just have to do YouTubes. I feel compelled to tell my whole story. So this may be more than some people want. I want to get into things that made me me, and actually why it shows why I was in the organization so long, and also why I was able to break free. So I think it does work out. But I know my presentations will not be for everyone. I will see the need, as I can already understand, to bring in other things besides my historical chronological story. I want to do a few subjects and also perhaps bring up books and things that have had an impact on me, and go over them a little bit. I wish I could make a perfect presentation, but I cannot wait any longer to figure out how to do that. It's all too critical. You will soon find out that I've had many paranormal or supernatural events in my life. I can only try to assure you that what I write is true. I will start out with the history, and that is reliant, especially the ancient history, upon what my mother told me, and may not be 100% accurate. I will also include accounts from others that I believe have value and are true. But much of my story is my own eyewitness account. I at least know that is true. Well, I appreciate so much what some of you are doing, as I said, going back into the literature. I just feel I gave 51 years to the organization, and I am not giving any more. You will find that my accounts will corroborate a lot of your history and what you've said. I know that they will be very interesting to you. I will be flying solo and coming in from a very different angle that many come onto the landing field in this community. I was in one discussion group of ex-JWs and was called a UFO. That's okay. I have a good sense of humor, and as they say in England, I have been taking the mickey for some time now. I have always been intrigued by history, and I would like to bring up those books here and there. However, to start out with, I must say that I feel compelled to leave some information available for the community on the very somber subject of suicide, because I see that several of you have been putting that up on your channels. So I do not have the expertise and technical skills that you do, so I humbly ask for your patience. My presentations will not be perfect, but I will try to be perfectly clear about what I am saying. I realize that many may not be into my way of presenting things, but if you have the patience, you will get something out of it. I do write poetry, and as I said, I have my book, How the Movie Saved My Life, and other themes. And I would just like to read one from that book because it is related to my channel name, and it is I Lit a Candle. The years have gone by, and I've hoarded every memory. I will tell, I say. The truth will come out. I will write that book someday. And though I flirt with rainbow dreams and talk as though life is what it seems, unwanted thoughts like thugs break in, holding me down with, "We'll never let you win. We hold you deep within your prison cell, so deep we know you will never tell. Ideas of escape are futile, they say. Let go, give in. Eventually we'll have our way. Still I fight on as nature's calls resonate with my heart. A blow back to the dark, that will be my part. I long ago fell for that idol called beauty. I found out that life is more than a duty. It seduced me with color, shapes, lines so entrancing. In rhythm, in melody, I found myself dancing. With high shivers and tears, it was so enchanting. While whispering in my ear soft, sweet words of endearment, my heart was beguiled and followed its movement. I swooned to love, with beauty I ran away. And although I am married by inescapable laws to the bitter past, it's beauty that holds me tightly in its immortal grasp. February 22nd, 2014.